M is on my most overrated artist list of all time.
Overrated.
Yeah, but like TJ, like Peso has been saying throughout the show, music is so subjective. But it's one of those things where growing up, coming from where I come from, I just couldn't relate to a lot of his music. Not everything. He's not talking about, having dreams of his mama and daughter and this and that in every song. He's not talking about that in every song. But he talked about it enough to where, I don't think like this. I don't. So you know what I mean? I know he's mixing it in with bars and stuff like that, but I'm just good on that. Like that's not my style. Right? So I never had him near the top. Now,
I got a question. You don't think Eminem is one of the best rappers of all time?
According to who?
You, rap fans.
Let me say something to you, and this is going to my African fundamentalism. No non-African can ever be the best of anything African. It is an insult to the ancestors, it is an insult to the race, and it is an insult to every black person. Do you think I could go to Palestine and be the best anything of Palestinian culture? You never see that. You think I could go to Israel and be the best of anything in Israel, whether it be a cook, an instrumentalist, a dancer? Hell no. And we have to stop naming non-African people, Joe.
But I disagree.
Stay with me though. Let me finish this. We got to stop naming non-African people as being the best of any aspect of our cultural product,
Joe, I think you
because it is an insult.
So that was the conversation on that. Now I do got a take on this, but I'll let y'all go first.
Oh no, go first.
Huh?
Go first.
Oh, all right. Well, I have two takes on this. The first take is I don't view Eminem that high anyway. I never have. And so that's the first difference I have in this, right? Because I hear what he's saying, right? And he's on the Joe Budden podcast. Of course, Joe and M has had a cheddar pass where they were super close and kind of dissing each other or what have you. So I don't know how it even came up within the conversation, but I'm sure that had something to do with it because Joe is so closely tied to M. But I don't even I've always like M is on my most overrated artist list of all time.
Overrated.
Yeah, but like TJ, like Peso has been saying throughout the show, music is so subjective. But it's one of those things where growing up, coming from where I come from, I just couldn't relate to a lot of his music. Not everything. He's not talking about having dreams of raping his mama and daughter and this and that in every song. He's not talking about that in every song. But he talked about it enough to where, I don't think like this. I don't. So you know what I mean? I know he's mixing it in with bars and stuff like that, but I'm just good on that. Like that's not my style. Right? So I never had him near the top. Now, second point is Umar is a guy. Umar, Charleston White, all these guys, they in this, they under the Malcolm X tree, right? And when you fast forward to 2023, it's just the way you have to communicate to get your point across is just different. Again, Umar is a guy similar to Charleston White, where I fucks with him, but just not everything he says I fucking agree with. So some of it and a lot of it I do. This don't make a ton of sense. But I can understand, like, okay, you going to all these different communities and things like that. That is a true statement. That part. You're not going to go to fucking India, Australia, whatever, and become the best at anything that they're rooted in culturally. They're not going to allow you to. They're not. One of my, I'm a quotes guy. And a lot of things draw out to me. Like, we always talk about the Jordan guy. You draft Jordan. Oh, I need a center. Well, you fucking draft him and put it at center. One of the things when I'm not the biggest history guy, but one of the big wars we were in, World War I, World War II, wherever, we were in Korea, right? And one of the biggest things that stick out to me is when the Koreans were on the microphones while we were there. Our soldiers, all of our U.S. soldiers were over there, getting ready to fucking bomb and kill, and all these guys. They were they don't even speak English, but this is what they said on the microphone. Soul brother, this is not your war. Like, they were so fucking confused, dumbfounded that black men were over there.
Was that Korea or Vietnam?
With white people, whatever it is. I told you history, but that's a true thing. Like, you can look it up. Wherever it's Vietnam or Korea or whatever it is. They were so dumbfounded that black men were over there to fight in the U.S. Army. It's like, well, like we know what they doing to y'all over there. We know what slavery happened. Like, I don't know if y'all know this, but I know what they did to y'all, right? And so when you take Umar and Charleston and all these guys, they're coming from a place of where it's like, okay, it's rooted in, what white people did in such a fucking long time ago, and the system that they put in place, and the way systematically how just put blacks at a disadvantage. And so they go so hard on the other end, on the other angle, to sometimes it's just not going to make a lot of sense. Sometimes it will. This one, the Eminem, is a stretch. It's a fucking, he stretched his whole hamstring trying to get this tape out. You know what I'm saying? It was a reach. It's within reason, but it was a fucking hard reach. You know what I'm saying? Because Eminem can rap. Yeah. I know. Just because he's not my taste, I know that I'm not fucking retarded. I mean, or whatever. I'm not trying to get canceled on YouTube, but I know Eminem can rap. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to be mad at anybody who says Eminem is one of the best. I'll get upset if they say he is the greatest. But if you say he's in the whatever, your top 5, that's okay. I know he can rap. He's at that level.
Yeah.
Peso, I love how he said God level. Some people reach like this God level. I feel like Eminem did reach God level somewhere throughout his career. He's one of the guys that reached God level. I can fucking agree to that, even though I don't fucking listen to his music.
Yeah.
Right.
My first reaction in listening to the point was I thought about Tiger Woods in golf, Serena Williams in tennis. And I'm like, they're the best in traditionally white events. But then as I thought a little bit more about it, there is a cultural component to hip hop that has significance to it. And for the exact reason, it's funny, I was thinking this and then you kind of said it in that, you can't really relate to the bulk of Eminem's lyrics and so forth. I think you can look at Eminem in a talent perspective and conclude this guy's a hell of a rapper. He's amazing, and I think he deserves a place at that God level or upper tier of guys.
I'll be goddamn.
But he's whatever.
Audio was not even on
The whole show.
Nah, just that part.
Oh.
The whole shit.
Nah, not the whole show.
Goddamn.
But you missed my whole goddamn part.
All right.
So you gotta circle back.
So yeah. But for the reason you said, and then you look at his career, like he had that early phase of his career, then he kind of dropped out, probably with a drug addiction or whatever. And he's kind of these days, he's kind of this like almost like pseudo mysterious shrouded figure that pops up here and there. Like when you compare his body of work to guys like Lil Wayne that like have 20 years of productivity, it doesn't measure up.
Yeah.
It's, on that level. And, I mean, again, I don't have an issue saying that hip hop is a black art form. Mm-hmm. And while you could participate in it from another race, you're never going to quite have the same cultural, social connection to it that black artists can. And so for that reason, I don't think you can ever call him the GOAT, but he does belong up in a place. Now, I do have a little bit of objection to the Africa thing, because when we, think of what we define as hip hop, it's, late 70s, 80s, New York centric, and it's developing from there. It's developing from African Americans. And for him to kind of go to this all the way to Africa, I think that's the overreach that you're talking about to make that point. It's not the strongest argument he has, but he leaned pretty heavily on it. Mm-hmm. That's my take.
Shit, I don't know. It sounded kind of personal for that nigga, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? But,
everything's personally when you're a blustery bag of wind.
But I definitely feel like he made a good point with that, though. Like, in terms of, like, it's something we created, right? So it's like, how you gonna give somebody that credit? But, again, that don't got nothing to do with skill. And that goes to what you were saying earlier, Bubba, like, Eminem just at a skill level to where, like, you ain't fucking with him. You know what I'm saying? So, I like Eminem. And it's like, Eminem a person who come from poverty.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so like, even though I understand his argument, he can't. I know he was saying things along the lines, too, like, he can turn off the rapper, but, like, as black people, we can't turn off the black. You know what I'm saying? So I get that. in terms of that, but he was in the middle of poverty. Like, I don't know how familiar he is with Detroit. Man, Detroit gutter, nigga. Like,
Yeah.
Eminem is right in the middle of that shit. So it's like you look at all Eminem friends is black, nigga. Like,
I've always drawn like, if you look at Eminem and you look at Kid Rock, they're both from Detroit. And Kid Rock kind of dabbled in rap as something, and then he goes on to be a honky trumper.
But you could tell who's different, though.
No, that's my point. That's my
saying?
point. Like, there's two different arcs that happen. Eminem has, like, in his own way, stayed true to being a hip hop person and of the culture in some meaningful way. Where, like, I literally, you look at a guy like Kid Rock and it's like, oh yeah, that guy probably rapped just to be popular for a little while and moved on to the next thing.
That's a perfect example, though, right? Like, because it's like, at some point, you gotta say, like, all right, no, that's just him. That's just Eminem. That's his essence. That's
the authenticity,
yeah,
and I'm praising that in what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying? So I definitely feel like Eminem. I wouldn't call Eminem the greatest. Like, I agree with him on that. Like, you can't. But I also don't feel it determines skill level. Like, I think Eminem can spar with the best of them.
Yeah.
Like, still, but I wouldn't call him the greatest off of something that we created. And Eminem would probably tell you that. Eminem a realist. He'll probably tell you, like, you know what I'm saying? He'll probably say that shit himself.
Yeah. One of my favorite things about Eminem when he was going through that dark space or something, he was saying how he didn't know if he wanted to come back to rap, but now he was looking at how dominant and how crazy Lil Wayne was rapping. He was like, man. He was like, I wanted to fucking kill myself because at that point I couldn't like reach that level that Wayne was at, and I was like, what the fuck I should even be alive for?
You see what I'm saying?
You know what
Wayne, listen, man.
Yeah, but
if you don't got Wayne in your top 5, nigga, yo, listen, man. I'm not even the top 5 conversation, nigga. If you don't have Wayne in there, like you just nuts.
Yeah, I love statements like that because it's like, when somebody who could really do something can see a whole nother level of greatness in another person, that always blows me away.
Yeah,
it's one thing for casuals to just say, oh, this is whatever, but when somebody who can do something at an extremely high level is like, man, I can't touch that guy.
Yeah.
And I also think just the whole, and I know he's in a dark place, but dark places are sometimes authentic, and for him to actually think like, should I be living? I love that shit. It's dark, but I love it because it's just authentic.
Yeah.
It's just like, I've built my life doing this, and I see this other person do it, and I'm like, fuck. Yeah. I might, I don't really want to find anything else to do, so I might as well be dead.
Just to circle back on your Jay-Z shit, Wayne said he loved Jay-Z.
I love Jay-Z too at one point.
Wayne loved Jay-Z, man.
Yeah. Wayne has always
gave Jay-Z them flowers.
Always.
Jay-Z lit though. I think Jay-Z's done so much. Like, that's another thing too. When I was growing up, like I would say the New York sound was probably dominant before the South took over.
Mm-hmm.
And I was there when it was like
at its peak.
At its peak. You know, so I saw like a lot of nuances. Like, Jay-Z had such an impact on New York, it's not even funny.
Question.
50 was going crazy.
When 50
when he had his run.
50, the South loved 50.
Oh yeah.
That's the thing. Like 50 a menace too though. Like,
yeah.
50 lit.
But you know Wayne better than I do. Like, it does not seem like he spends much time like saying negative stuff about people.
Nah. Wayne don't even like. He really don't even like put himself inside of beefs.
Yeah.
What's the name from Clips? Was trying so hard. He got a couple bars from him. Pusha T. Yeah. He got a couple bars out of Wayne, but he's
Which I love that.
Yeah.
That's a great thing to
me, right? Like, you be so high on your own frequency, like shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love that.
Like the difference between him and Wayne, because the same, almost not the same thing, but what's the guy Gilly? Like, it was a stretch of time where Gilly was like, man, I wrote Wayne's, like, I write for Wayne. I'm Wayne's writer or whatever. And Wayne wouldn't even, like, and most of the time, he wouldn't even address it. If he was even asked, he would just smirk and just keep going. It's like,
it's crazy.
I don't even write.
I ain't there. I don't know, but I do know Gilly's main problem with Birdman. I don't
Yeah,
think
yeah,
it was-
because of the checks. And Wayne just caught like the
he
back.
caught the straight, like
Yeah,
the back end shit that had nothing to do with him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
The shrapnel, called shrapnel.
Yeah, and a lot of people got problems with Bird. The business just haven't always been straightforward. You know, if a lot of motherfuckers are saying it has to be true. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, it's like we said about Diddy and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
like
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
if enough people are talking
You
about
gotta-
it,
you
there's
gotta leave
something
Brother
there.
Love alone, man.
Who talking about Diddy?
Brother Love. Brother Love.